Alrighty, so this is video notes for sections 10.4 and 10.5, day 2, again looking at tangent, sine, and cosine ratios. So, to remind ourselves, on the very top of your paper I would like you to write so, ka, toa. Make sure that you have it spelled correctly so that you know what the abbreviations do in fact stand for. So tells us that the sine of A is equal to the ratio of the opposite side compared to angle A over the hypotenuse. So sine of A equals opposite over hypotenuse, SOH. Ka tells us that the cosine of A is equal to the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse. Again, adjacent means next to. So if we're looking at angle A, the leg of the triangle that shares a side of that angle is here, B. And tangent is equal to the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. We're going to use these now to be able to solve for a missing side of a right triangle. So if you look here, we're trying to find the length of side X. However, we are just given one angle, we know this is a right triangle, and we're given one other side. So we want to set up a ratio using sine, cosine, or tangent. We'll look at our angle here. Compared to where our angle is located, we are given the opposite side and the adjacent side. So which of our ratios in SOH deals with opposite and adjacent? The tangent ratio. So let's set up our tangent ratio. The tangent of our angle, which here is 22 degrees, so we're going to say the tangent of 22 degrees equals, and we do opposite over adjacent, so it equals 3 over x. Now, we want to solve for x, so we want to get x by itself, and it needs to be on top, not on bottom. So first we want to multiply both sides of our equation by x to move it to the top. So that gives us x times the tangent of 22 degrees is equal to, those x's cancel out, so just equal to 3. But again, we want x by itself. So since we're multiplying here, we want to divide by the tangent of 23 on both sides. So that will give us an answer of x is equal to 3 over the tangent of 23 degrees, or 22 degrees, I'm sorry. In order to get a final answer, we can plug this into our calculator. You should plug in 3 divided by the tangent of 23, and you should get an answer of 7.07. Let's look at example number 2. Example 2, we want to find the value of A. We're only given one side, a missing side, and an angle here, so we need to figure out which ratio we could use. Again, I'm going to write it on top, SOH. That should be drilled into your memory. You should be able to write it on the top of every page, every problem. So what sides are we given here in comparison to our angle of 32 degrees? We are given the opposite side, which is A, and this side here is our hypotenuse, which is 10. So what deals with the opposite side and the hypotenuse? Well, we have SOH, S-O-H, opposite over hypotenuse. So we're going to use the sine. So the sine of our angle that we're looking at, which is 32 degrees, is equal to the opposite, which is A, over hypotenuse, which is 10. Here, to get A by itself, all I need to do is multiply this side by 10, which means I also must multiply this side by 10. Over here, the 10's cancel out, leaving just A. And on the left, we get 10 times the sine of 32 degrees. So to solve for A, we can plug this into our calculator. You can do the sine of 32, enter, and then multiply by 10. Or you can type in 10 times the sine of 32. You should get an answer for A equal to 5.299. All right, let's look at number 2. Find the value of A and B. So first, let's look at A. This is what we are trying to find here. Let's look at the angle we are given, which is 65. Comparatively to 65, we are trying to find A, which is opposite of angle 65. And the number we're given is 12, which is our hypotenuse. So which function do we need to use? We need the one that has opposite and hypotenuse, which is the sine function. So sine of A, or sine here of our angle, which is 65 degrees, is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. The opposite side of 65 degrees is A. The hypotenuse is 12. So to get A by itself, I need to multiply both sides by 12. So A is equal to 12 times the sine of 65 degrees. Plug this into my calculator, and you should get 10.875. If you are plugging these into your calculator and not getting these same answers, you need to check with us that you are plugging it in correctly. Alright, let's find side B now. We still are only given one angle, which is 65. So looking at that angle, B in relation to 65 is the adjacent side, and still 12 is our hypotenuse. So what has adjacent and hypotenuse? That would be the cosine function. So the cosine of our angle, 65 degrees, is equal to the adjacent side, which we are solving for, that's B, over the hypotenuse, which we said was 12. To get B by itself, we need to again multiply both sides by 12. So we get 12 times the cosine of 65 will equal B. Plug this into your calculators, and you should get the decimal 5.07 for B. Again, if you're having trouble plugging this into your calculators and getting these same answers, you need to let us know. Alright, you are responsible for checkpoints numbers 1 through 3 on the next page.